Luke Skywalker, the son of Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker. Luke saved the Alliance from annihilation by destroying the Empire's Death Star. He continued his training in the years that followed, determined to become a Jedi Knight like his father before him. And he found a new mentor, Grand Master Yoda. Hello and welcome to another Centurion's Corner, and today we're reviewing the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back Bespin Luke. Now this is my favourite Luke of all time. This is my favourite outfit. It's higher than the Jedi outfit, it's higher than his A New Hope outfit. This outfit is Luke, and if I could ever dress up as Luke, or if I could ever just have one figure of Luke, it would be this guy. And I'm really happy that Hasbro have re-released these, and he has a different head as well compared to what it was with the original release, as the first one looked kind of ugly. And it gives me and these other guys and girls who have just started to collect Black Series, with these figures it is harder to get. So then bringing out these 40th anniversary plus with the new face looking stuff, which is what I go for, so they don't look as toy looking, is amazing. So thank you Hasbro, and especially where these are coming out. I've got this guy from Star Action Figures, and again just normal retail price of about $18.95. So again, it's just a brilliant steal. So with that, we'll go through his review and see what kind of sort of Luke Skywalker figure he is really. See if he compares to the rest, because it's still the old body. It's only just a new head sculpt on there. So here he is on these little chase to back card sort of thing there, kind of looking a bit of like a weird Luke. I mean, the background just looks a bit weird. There's something about him, I think it's been photoshopped. It just looks a little bit sort of airbrushed in a way. Just looks a bit strange, but you know, it looks quite cool. He's got that kind of old look to it. And on the back we got kind of like a little bit of blurb about the 40th anniversary, and up here we got Luke Skywalker, we got Yoda, we got Leia, Han Solo and the Attack Driver. And out of these guys, I'm not interested in 3 of those. The only other one I'm interested in was Princess Leia Organa, which I've got, and she's going to be coming for a review. But I kind of wish I held out actually and just bought the double pack of Hoth, Han and Leia, to be honest. But anyway, so without further ado, let's crack this bad boy open. Okay, here he is in his little blister pack. And so we've got his little DL44 blaster here, and then also we've got his traditional Anakin Luke Skywalker Rey lightsaber, and yeah, we've got the Luke. So we just take him out, we'll do our first impressions, and I literally can't wait to take some photos and all that of this guy, just with Vader, just fighting and stuff. So we'll go for it. Yeah, I don't know about the head, I'm not 100% sure, but I'll see how he photos and stuff like that. It does look a little bit strange, but it does look better than the one that it did come with. But yeah, I'll take him away, and we'll see you in a mo. Hello, welcome back. So I've been away, I've taken some photos, and yeah, I must admit it's a pretty good, decent Black Series figure, to be honest. Again, it has these little downfalls, but you know, we'll point those out as we go through, and it's a typical Black Series. We're never going to get a pure perfection unless you really like him, like a la Captain Rex. But what we'll do, we'll just go through his accessories, his articulation, his sculpt, and kind of maybe compare him to the other Luke Skywalkers that have come out in the last sort of year. So we've got the archive Luke Skywalker with a bit of better face paint on there, and then we got the ceremony Luke, and also the Return of the Jedi Luke as well. Just see where this face kind of marries up with them, really. So with that, his accessories, he comes with his Anakin lightsaber and a DL44. So as you can see, you can hold it with both hands, which is absolutely great. He hasn't got no butterfly joints or anything like that because it's an older sculpt body. But because of his size, because of his sort of width, you can actually hold that with both hands. And actually you can get quite a good sort of varied sort of bits of movement on there. So we can actually sort of like just twist him over a little bit, you know, so we can get it from a side sweep. You know, you can put him down, get him to the other side, and you get a few blocks and stuff in there as well. So it's not just really just hindered where he has to hold it slap bang in the middle. So looking at his lightsaber, it's painted just kind of sort of basic. We've got the silver or the gold, and obviously it's all silver, and we've got the little red switch on there as well. This bit on the end though kind of looks a bit dog chewed. It just does look a little bit odd. And we've got the sort of chunks of that taken out, so it kind of even looks like the new Rey lightsaber really. But yeah, just it's not the best Anakin looking lightsaber I've had out there. And then we got the old standard kind of hook part on the end, and also the blade is removable, but it's annoying. It's that kind of hard kind of pin, so it feels like you only got about 5 lives with this before it actually snaps off. But with the hilt, it can actually go onto his belt on the hook, but unfortunately it's made of this sort of Zoff sort of vinyl, so when you try and pull it on there, it never fits very well, and if it does, it just kind of sort of hangs out a little bit, so we don't get that nice kind of like hooked over feeling, and it's like swinging between his legs. His other accessory is his DL44, and pops into this holster, and actually the holster itself as well, it's probably not the best I've ever seen out there. It actually feels like an accessory, like feels hard plastic. There's no kind of texture on there, and yeah, it just feels, I don't know, like a bit not a typical Black Series kind of sort of like accessory belt really. It just, you know, I've got Han Solo here from when I was just taking some photos, and you know, we've got the texture, we've got the paint on there, and this one's not glued to the side, so I don't know if this is a new thing that they're doing, or because this is an old figure, it's exactly the same as the old thing, and now it's they go not for this. But yeah, it just feels a bit tacky in a way. And anyway, the DL44 just fits slap bang in his hand, and he's got his trigger finger, and so you can blast some Boba Fett's and some Stormtroopers with it. And texture wise, it's not too bad. We've got the nice silver sort of tip on there, and you know, it's just matte black plastic, which pretty much is what the gun is like, so that's not too bad. But with that, we go through his articulation, and this is where the character kind of excels really, is his articulation. So what we can do a left, we can do a right, he can look down and he can look up. There's no kind of sort of head really sort of tilt on there. I suppose there is a little bit. We've got his arms can come up this far. We've got a rotation at the shoulder. We've got a nice kind of bend at the elbow, which is a little bit better than 90 degrees. It's got rotation at the wrist, and also it's on a hinge. We've got ab rotation. There's a slight crunch in there, but because the way it's kind of like, it's sort of very sort of stuck up. It's got a hard back, and he's just sort of quite straight laced really, so where it comes down there's not much movement down there, so you can't really get an ab crunch on there unfortunately. And also he's got the swivel at the elbows as well. Going down to his legs, he can kick forward quite well, and he can kick back pretty good as well. We've got the upper thigh rotation, we've got a double jointed knee. Ooh. There we go, and then we've got the rocker and the pivot just there, and obviously due to the holster on this side, the actual rotation isn't hindered at all, which is actually great. And then straight away we can go straight into his looks, I suppose. And again, this is where I think it's a little bit let down. It is better than the original kind of face sculpt, and I'll try and find a picture and plonk it up on the side. If not, you just see me poking the screen. But yeah, it's alright, and it's not. I mean, is it my head telling me that it's Luke Skywalker? Like, if I gave this to someone else, would they say that's Luke, or would they say I have no idea? It just kind of looks a little bit like a, I don't know, a bit of a gormless monkey, just staring into oblivion. There's no kind of sort of facial kind of expression on his face. Just looks a little bit glum, you know. But his hair looks nice. We've got the nice sort of texture, you know, it's pretty cool. On there, it's all that sort of sweat, and it's all sort of brushed in there nicely with the darks. I mean, the face paint on the actual face is pretty good, but yeah, it just looks a little bit gormless, I think. And I think that's probably why they photoshopped that picture on the front cover, because it pretty much looks like him. I'll just lean over and get it. But yeah, going down and we can look at his overalls, and yeah, it's done really nicely. We got these sort of the texture pockets here. We actually got this sort of texture around which holds in the black sort of black wash on there very nicely. And he's basically just browny grey overalls. Got all the pockets all around. We've got all the wrinkles and all that in the back, and the other textures on his arms and his hands. Unfortunately, this hand isn't removable, which would have been great. And it's on a peg, but I don't really want to pull it too much. It feels like it's straining. So unfortunately the hand isn't removable. And down to the belt. So we've got the silver applications on the belt. We've got all the other bits that are painted nicely, so the hooks and all the rivets. But unfortunately it just is a little bit let down on like a paint job or anything like that, really, just to make it look a bit like a leather effect. And again, just the overalls goes all the way down to his kind of boots, which is like a thing for Empire Strikes Back, was these kind of sort of like I guess he was still wearing his snow boots, really, but yeah, they're just kind of sort of like tied up kind of things, but that have look like it's got little slippers at the bottom. But yeah, it's all painted nicely. There's no sort of thing sort of like let down on the paint applications, and we have got the black wash all over the back as well. So in all, he's a pretty good figure. He's a good Luke. He's definitely my favourite Luke. I've seen a few guys out there doing a few sort of they had the older body and they've been using sort of like the Luke ceremony head on him, and to be honest, I wouldn't mind that if Hasbro re-released this figure just with that head, because I feel that head was a lot better. And so this is that head that was out there. Yeah, he's got dark eyes. Yeah, he looks a little bit kind of sort of thing, but I don't know, there's something about him, I kind of like the look of it. It looks a bit more lifelike. I suppose in a way he actually looks a bit like young Han, actually, thinking about it. But we got Ceremony Luke, and then the Return of the Jedi Luke, which kind of was like the first Luke coming out. But a lot of people really like this guy, but I don't know, this ain't, again, I don't know whether it's Mark Hamill's face that's kind of hard to sort of like recreate, but this guy just reminds me of it's like a Luke Skywalker Ken doll. Just that's him there. And yeah, he's got wobbly legs, which does my head in. And then obviously we got the Luke Skywalker X-Wing, and to be honest, I thought this is probably one of my worst ones. I never really liked, but saying that, it has grown on me actually, and I do prefer even this head compared to the Return of the Jedi Luke. But hey ho. So that really brings me to the end of it. Would I recommend this figure? I would, because I love Luke Skywalker. Absolutely, I think Luke's probably one of the best characters out there in sort of film history. Unfortunately, what they've done with him through the sequel kind of Star Wars that everyone knows, you know, everyone doesn't really like it, but again, he wasn't my Luke Skywalker. But this is my ultimate kind of sort of look for Luke, and I know that this is going to be the only sort of Black Series kind of Luke that they're going to bring out. Obviously this is a new release, they've redone his head, and it's the best you're going to get to represent this Luke here. So at the moment, Star Action figures, I got him for $18.95, $2.99 post and packaging. Doesn't matter what you buy with it on the top, it's still $2.99, which is fantastic still, really, to be honest. So you could go and buy 5 figures and it's still $2.99 post and packaging. So that's a pretty good steal, to be honest. And I'm not paid to advertise them. I just actually highly recommend them because they have never really sort of fudged me over like some other ones out there. But again, guys, thank you so much for joining me on the channel. You can subscribe, you can comment, you can follow me on Instagram, which the description is down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.